But now I'm going to hand over to Raina and ask her to give us a little idea of what it's been like and what it is like and what the challenges are from a chief exec's point of view. Thanks, Raina.
Okay, thanks, Julia. Morning, everyone. Lovely to virtually see you all. So yeah, Julia asked me to say a few words, and I suppose in terms of just for people who might not know the context. So we've got 23 care and nursing homes across the country in different locations. Most of our work is with local authority and CCGs. We've also got home care, live-in care, extra care, etc. But obviously, for the purpose of this and care home and visiting, I suppose our journey over the year, like everyone, has been a pretty rocky one, a very emotional one for everybody involved. And as Julia said, we've certainly had losses, deaths that we wouldn't have had to the extreme we've had, and we've also experienced death of a couple of our care team members as well in the care homes, which has hit everybody really hard. So yeah, an emotional year, no surprise to anyone in this meeting for that. In terms of visiting, I think from our experience, I suppose it's useful to share because my background is care and social work and regulation. I've been with Agent Care 17 years. I'm absolutely confident that from my perspective, from the board's perspective, from Tim, our chief operating officer, who'll join the meeting later because I need to leave, we are absolutely committed to ensuring that family carers and visiting safely within guidance to not put people at unnecessary risk has been top of our agenda every day over the year. And yet we've still found it incredibly difficult, and it has been tremendously difficult to ensure consistency despite that commitment with our policies, with our procedures, with our guidance, with our daily calls, to ensure that that is happening as we would hope it would in every situation for every person across every one of the people that live and visit our services. So I suppose there's an openness and honesty from my perspective. You know, if I was in a home managing it, I'm kind of confident that I would be, you know, I'd be the Adams and the Marks and the you know, and the Donnas, just doing such a fantastic job of ensuring every single opportunity is captured and met. But in a larger organisation, that has been incredibly difficult and remains incredibly difficult. And even now, last week, I had a conversation with a commissioner and a representative from the CCG in one of our local authorities who said, but we've banned visiting. And I said, no, you haven't banned visiting. There's guidance in place and we're adhering to it. Well, you know, you're not letting visitors in with this or that, or, you know, and it was just completely negative pressure. And I think we have to be realistic and say that is what our teams are coming up against on a daily basis. And as you get a larger organisation, there is invariably risk. People, you know, you can get people blaming you, whether it's local authority or CCGs or even some family carers or people that feel that you're not handling it differently. And we will have relatives and family carers who feel that we should close the home down and lock everything down, and they don't want to come in and they don't want to risk bringing something into the home, or they don't want to risk contracting something and taking it out of the home. And others who work with the risk assessment with us and kind of want to push that to its limits. So it's an incredible juggling act. And I suppose, you know, I'm always torn between absolutely advocating for all the principles with the guidance, but more than anything for clarity, because I can see from my position how incredibly challenging it is for our teams on the ground to be dealing with all those situations every day, and the emotional toll that that's taken on them amidst everything else, because that's just one piece of what they're juggling every day. And it's not diminishing that at all, because it's an absolutely critical, vital part. And I'm incredibly proud and in a way amazed that they've done as well and as much as they have. And, you know, I turned up at one of our care homes a couple of weeks ago, and they'd enabled someone to come in and stay overnight for 2 or 3 nights, even though they had an outbreak. And, you know, we really are pushing it to the limits. But when you have got the attitudes amongst some public sector partners, and you haven't got clarity of guidance, and it is an incredible ask for people, even if we as an organisation are saying we support you, we support that risk taking. If something goes wrong, we will be behind you. And we will naturally have some managers who are more cautious than others, and some teams that are more cautious than others, either through their personal experience or their experience in the home. So I'm, anything we can do collectively, the latest guidance, the ask about having a bit more clarity from the 8th of March is really welcomed, but I certainly don't think it's an overnight magic wand that's going to make it really easy for our teams to make the right decision and the right judgment. And I certainly don't know that it's being widely enough embraced by the local authorities, CQC, CCGs, because there's so many stakeholders in what we do, and trying to get consensus amongst them nationally and then locally is really challenging. So Julia knows very much. We've had conversations over this year around the balance between not creating enemies amongst ourselves, not infighting to the degree where we start turning on each other and accusing some care home providers of doing not enough in it, because I just, we've got to have some tolerance. Yes, we need to push for clarity, but it doesn't surprise me that there is such inconsistency and such challenge, because it is really difficult. And that's, when, as I said, every single day, Tim and I will be banging on at our managers, do this, sending out every bit of guidance, making it as easy as possible, encouraging absolutely individual risk assessment. And still, I know we're not getting it right 100%. So is that enough, Julia? Sorry, Adam. Julia, on you mute. Sorry. Oh, gone off again. You're still on mute.
Right, am I there?
You are.
Do you know what I've done? I was in such a fluster this morning. I downloaded Teams twice, and then the versions are sort of quarrelling with each other. So anyway, Raina, thank you for that. And I'm very glad that Leslie's recording it, because quite honestly, that was a little piece, as it were, straight to camera, which I think would speak out to a huge amount of people. And it would be lovely if we could share that more widely, because that was terrific. And I know how committed you are. I know how hard you try. Obviously, what all of us would like to know is, how can we make it easier for you and how can we collectively make it easier for you and your managers and everybody involved? And we'll get to that a little bit later, perhaps, with what Caroline's going to say. I've got to wear my legal hat, but collectively, through these next 2 hours, whatever we can do to make this easier for each other and to work in partnership has got to be the way to go. I don't know if you've got any immediate thoughts. What's the single? I mean, there's just been a statement from the CQC, and I would say not before time. Is there anything immediate that you would like to say before you have to go that would make the whole thing clearer, more humane?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a single thing. I think it's got to be a collective responsibility. I mean, I think it's just an area that highlights the issues for providers when we're working under pressure, when we're working all the time, really. I think the issue around blame is something that providers feel often they kind of get at the sharp end of, whether it's justified or not. And so it's about, how do we work together in partnership with everybody and try and prevent that blame game, which is an ongoing issue for us in relationship management. But I think the positives are just, equipping. Yes, the clearer the guidance, the clearer the commitment is. If we can say to the managers, refer to the CQC commitment to safe visiting, so you're kind of pushing people to take the positive risk rather than the negative risk. And that has to be that buy-in from local authority, from public health, from CQC, from CCGs. But the issue is getting that in each area dealt with properly and consistently. And I don't think we're going to wave a magic wand and make that happen. But I think the more, in a way, armory our people have to make them feel confident to take those positive risks, the better. So yeah.
I think my single thing also, which I would like to say to everybody, is see families as a positive resource, not an overhanging threat. And in your company, you make use of people's skills as volunteers, and I really feel that the strengths of families and their wish to help has not been used. But anyway, we
can
won't.
I just say on that, Julie, I think that's a really important thing. And I think, again, where Public Health England, where the CCGs, local authorities, CQC can help us, particularly when there's outbreaks. I mean, when we've had some of the outbreaks we've had, and obviously you have your team decimated by positive testing, some of them may be quite seriously ill, you're managing all of that, and actually visitors and family carers can be such a positive part of that. And in as I said, the home that I referred to a couple of weeks ago, they were doing it so positively, because what they were seeing is, actually, if I'm a care team member and I've got people who are isolating in their rooms or unwell because of COVID, and I've got a core team off and I'm running in not the usual way, if I know that a family carer is sitting in that room with someone I care for, that is a huge relief. To think someone is there, whether it's just a present, someone to call out if they need help, rather than stressing myself because I know I'm not checking on that person maybe as often as I would like to because I'm short-staffed, etc. So all of those things should have been being encouraged, to my mind, not discouraged. And obviously it's not everybody, we do have to recognise there are family carers who don't want to do that, who don't feel able to do that because of the risk. But again, where it is the case, it's such a useful, powerful thing for the team.
Yeah. Raina, I absolutely love that.